How helpful was Jedd Fisch in your transition here?
I didn't have a long transition with Jedd. I was there for like a week or two. They were practicing for the bowl game, so I stayed away and let him coach the team, and that was about it. He was interviewing for a few jobs, so he really wasn't around. So there wasn't much of an overlap.
Did you talk to him about the team though? Did he
fill
you in? Or?
Yeah, I talked to every coach that was here when I got here, so I met with everybody that was still on staff. So.
And was there any consideration to adding him to your staff?
I had already had our staff in place.
Okay.
Is it accurate that you tried to hire Jedd when you were at Philadelphia?
No.
Oh, okay. He mentioned that yesterday, that you guys had talked about him going to Philadelphia.
No, I knew Jedd. I've known Jedd for a long time, but I did not talk to him about that. So.
You're probably pretty familiar with his offense. Is that true, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watched him while he was in the league. We haven't faced him at all. I've never coached against the Jedd Fisch team since I've been in school, so I've never faced his offense. So.
How much input do you have into the defensive game plan?
I meet with those guys and talk about what I've seen, and then they present what they're doing, and we go over everything.
How dangerous is this is going to sound weird, but a winless team desperate for a win?
That's a great question for you. That fits right into your wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me how to think about that big picture guy. I don't know.
I would say
I'm
they're
asking
very
you.
dangerous.
Okay,
yeah, I'd say they're very
Why
dangerous.
is that very dangerous? Because your theory is it's all momentum based. So how does that work?
They need to get the momentum.
But how does one get one if they don't have it? Because you say it's all about momentum and what happened in the past. This is why I've been waiting for this question.
You got to get it, but then you got to keep it. They just got to get it. Maybe then they can keep it.
Then they are very dangerous.
Okay.
To answer your question.
even though they haven't won.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll go into that right now. They had 31 first downs against Oregon. They were down 24-19 in the fourth quarter. They also had 31 first downs and they had 5 turnovers. What if they don't have the 5 turnovers? How many more do they have? They're an explosive offensive team. I think Donnie Brown is one of the best defensive coaches in the country. He's been successful, whether he's at Boston College, Maryland, Michigan, everywhere he's been. They're a well-coached team. So you get it's like anything. You turn the tape on and look at them, and you can tell if the team is a good team, and that's a good team. Now they've turned the ball over, and as you know, we all know in college football, if you're turning the ball over more than your opponent, normally you're on the downside of that. But the team's competitive and they play very hard, and our kids know we're going to get everything we get when we go down there on Saturday night. So.
They've outgained 3 of their 4 opponents in the loss, so that offense, even though they've got 3 different quarterbacks that they've
been
used.
Productive. They're still trying to figure out who's playing. He has played 3 different kids. The kid right now from South Florida is dynamic from a leg standpoint, so he can beat you running the football too. So we have to prepare for it, and they're very multiple on offense and they're very multiple on defense. So it's going to be a really big test for us on Saturday night.
Is it difficult for the scout team, for Chase Artopoeus to maybe imitate 3 different types of quarterbacks? Maybe
no, we're preparing for the quarterback that's played the last couple of games. So
okay.
I don't see. I would be surprised if there's another quarterback in there. So, but we do have to prepare for all. It's the same as anybody. But the multiplicity is in what they run for plays and the diversity of the other personnel groups. They come in with no tight ends to 3 tight ends to a tight end and a fullback to a pro set to some of those things. That's the multiplicity. And it's the same thing on defense. They run multiple personnel groups on defense. So trying to get the right personnel groups in so our guys can simulate it the right way. There's been our scout squad players have done a really good job this week, on Monday and Tuesday. But we need to continue that because that is difficult when you face a team that gives you so many different looks, both offensively and defensively.
And Chase is wearing the yellow jersey now, Scout Team Player of the Week.
He was a Scout Team Player of the Week a week ago,
yeah. Yeah, how good has he been for your defense to go against him?
He's been great. He's sharp. He's been here for a couple of years. He's a really intelligent quarterback. But he also takes a lot of pride in giving the proper look. And that's the hardest thing for any scout team player because we may teach it one way, but the other team teaches it a different way. You got to kind of forget about what we're doing and then think about what they're doing and make sure we get the proper look. And Chase takes a lot of pride in that. He's done a really nice job ever since he's been here. So.
Without Sam Marazzo, what has Duke Clemens done that has garnered him to start setting over John Game?
Well, John's starting at right guard for us, so
but
John is starting. Duke's sharp. He can set our front for us. He's very athletic. He does a lot of really good things. I think the one tough thing for Duke is he had 1 bad snap, so everybody thinks. But overall in that game, he graded out probably the highest in the offensive line and played really, really well for us. So, it's kind of like an official. When you see 1 bad call, Was that an entire game of bad calls? No, it was just one bad call. You know, if a DB gets beat over the top once, you know, boy, the corner's not very good. Well, he could have graded out at 95%, but he got beat once. In the Duke situation, we had one bad snap, but that was it. You know, so but I think we're really pleased with how Duke is playing for us at time.
What does John Gaines do at right guard that's more effective? That makes him more effective in the line, more effective at right guard.
Say that again.
What does John Gaines do at right guard?
John's really athletic. He's got a really good guard body. We pull our guards and get him out into space a lot. That's what John does a really, really good job of. He's very athletic. He's probably the most athletic guard we have, so he can do a lot of different things with John's in there.
Jedd Fisch is known as kind of the master of the trick play. We saw him throwing passes to the left tackle when he was here. How do you prepare for somebody who's known for?
Well, we just go through what they've run, and we have a glossary of our guys when they're from a scout standpoint, and then percentage-wise of how much that happens. I think sometimes you can focus too much on it, you know, and say, hey, we're going to worry about all the trick plays, but then you get beat by regular inside zone because you didn't spend enough time on it. So there's a certain percentage breakdown when you go through your cut-ups. We got 4 games on them, so what percentage is it of base plays, what percentage is it of exotic plays, and then you work that into your practice schedule.
Defense has a 60% stop percentage, which means 40% of the possessions for the other team, they're scoring on you guys. In the granular, what needs to happen to change that, to improve that?
I think everything's on a game-to-game basis. You know, sometimes you can look at those statistics and who do you play that's really good. You know, you play a Fresno, and then, you know, the stop rate's going to be lower in a Fresno game than it is in a Hawaii game. So I don't think you overlook over it. You go through individual games, and the biggest thing for us on the defensive side of the ball is the X plays. That's what I think we're really concerned with. We've given up too many chunk plays, and the chunk plays are the big things, because if you do get an X play within a drive, then that usually results in points. So we've got to be able to stop the X plays.
Okay, thanks.